Good afternoon and good morning to everyone. A warm welcome to all participants who are joining us today for the event Women in Innovation. How can innovation foster women's economic empowerment? I am Carlotta Giarola from the International Markets Department at Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, CDP, the national financial institution that supports the sustainable and inclusive development of the public and private sector nationally and internationally. Today we have a very rich agenda with several guests representing the institutions and the partners supporting this initiative. Women 7, Women 20, CIMEST, CNA, the Italian Confederation of Craft Trades and SMEs, African Invest, Confindustria and BusinessMat. Furthermore, I'm particularly proud to announce that we will have several female entrepreneurs from Italy and the rest of the world who will tell us about their success stories and their strong commitment in supporting women's empowerment, especially through innovation. A commitment that is also that of the CDP Group. Women's economic empowerment and financial inclusion have been recognized as crucial to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In this context, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti Group reshaped its activities in order to contribute to the achievement of the SDGs, in particular the fifth goal, gender equality and empowering all women and girls. We will hear from our different speakers the challenges that women-led companies are facing and how innovation and technologies as drivers of change can be instrumental in achieving gender equality and empowerment of girls and women. Now, I would like to officially open the event by welcoming the Director of European and International Affairs of CDP and President of CIMEST, Pasquale Salzano, for the opening remarks.
Good afternoon and good morning to everyone connected from Italy and the rest of the world, companies, institutions and business representatives. First of all, let me thank Women 7 and Women 20 for the cooperation and support in promoting this important initiative. In particular, Anna Maria Tartaglia, W7 co-chair and W20 head of delegation for Italy, for participating in today's webinar. Above all, the efforts of the W7 are particularly significant for us in view of the upcoming Italian G7 presidency in 2024, which will have women empowerment as one of its priorities. Gender equality, women's economic empowerment and support for women's entrepreneurial initiatives are also priorities of the CDP strategic plan, within the strong commitment to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN 2030 Agenda and the sustainable and inclusive development, both nationally and internationally. CDP strategic plan prioritizes gender equality, women's economic empowerment, and the backing of women-led entrepreneurial ventures. The commitment aligns with the UN 2030 Agenda Sustainable Development Goals, aiming for sustainable and inclusive national and international development. Our discussion today occurs amidst critical global shifts, geopolitical tensions and trade fragmentation posing threats to decades of progress in women's economic empowerment. As trade alliances strengthen among like-minded nations, global trade patterns evolve, potentially impacting women's economic empowerment. Amidst these shifts, innovation and technology can serve three key purposes: promoting gender equality, bolstering women-led companies' internationalization efforts, and ensuring gender equity becomes integral in trade negotiations for women to gain rightful benefits. Innovation offers unprecedented opportunities to bridge gaps and reach marginalized groups, as emphasized in the 2023 OECD study on women economic empowerment, emphasizing the need for developing markets for gender-focused innovations, integrating gender concerns within innovation, championing women as innovators and entrepreneurs, and direct investment in tech-driven solutions addressing women's needs. When we speak about innovative instruments to facilitate export and internationalization processes, let me remind you that CDP has recently launched a specific digital tool, the CDP Business Matching platform, in collaboration with the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and CIMEST, to allow Italian and foreign companies to effectively and intelligently build economic and trade relationships. Today, more than 430 women's enterprises are registered on CDP Business Matching, and we look forward to welcoming more and more of them. We are sure that thanks to the financial and advisory support provided by CDP Group, with tangible work we could contribute to the economic growth driven by women entrepreneurs and to shape a gender-responsive private sector that thinks, acts and impacts gender equality in the companies, the marketplace and the community. In conclusion, I would like to warmly thank all the Italian and foreign entrepreneurs who will discuss these topics in the next panels. I thank you all for your attention and wish you a fruitful discussion.
Thank you very much, President Salzano, for having outlined the framework of today's event. So, President Salzano reminded that CDP prioritizes gender equality, women's economic empowerment, and the backing of women-led entrepreneurial ventures. This commitment aligns with the UN 2030 agendas, SDGs, aiming for sustainable and inclusive national and international development. And now I'm very pleased to leave the floor to Marianna Panebarco, Vice President of CNA. Good afternoon, Marianna. Buon pomeriggio. Please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I leave you the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. With great pleasure, I bring all of you the greetings from CNA, and I thank CDP for involving our association in the broader business matching platform initiative and in this event too. Because this initiative once again provides our businesses with the opportunity to engage with international operators, which is extremely important for us. The commitment we uphold to support our businesses in international markets is rewarded by our ability to maintain a leading role in the economic system on a global scale. Italian exports and our resilience to crisis factors are inseparably linked to the country's model we have, a model of productive specialization. Italy is in fact the second largest manufacturing economy in Europe, and its productions, largely carried out by dynamic small and micro, I would say, enterprises, enjoy global appreciation thanks to the strong allure of the Made in Italy brand. And let's start my briefing speech with some general data and then move on to analyze those regarding women in our companies that I think are quite interesting. Currently in Italy, there are approximately 112,000 businesses generating at least a portion of their revenue from abroad. We still have to recover pre-pandemic levels, but we are confident on that. These businesses are mainly small, with 55% of them having fewer than 9 employees. And this aggregate of micro and small enterprises is mainly distributed in the country's historical manufacturing areas, employs over 1 million people and contributes to 20% of Italian exports and 15% of manufacturing exports. And the majority of small business selling abroad are engaged in 4 key sectors of Made in Italy that are clothing and fashion, food and beverage, home furnishing, and automation mechanics. And now some data about women entrepreneurs. In Italy, companies led by women or with a presence presence of women in leading roles, let's say, represent 22% of the total of the enterprises. And in manufacturing, companies in manufacturing, these shares of 20% increases as 1 out of 4 of these companies are led by women. And if we speak about the 4 traditional made in Italy sectors, this share further increases. So what does it mean? Well, remembering that Italy is an export-led economy and that exports largely compensate for our weakness of our country's internal demand, it's clear that the appreciation of our production on foreign markets derives significantly from sensitivity, creativity, and know-how of women who deal with business in Italy. And as CNA, we strive to support our businesses in internalization processes, thanks to the collaboration with other institutional partners involved in these initiatives, such as the Italian Trade Agency, CIMES, not forgetting the important support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. A message I want to convey today to international operators is that CNA, through its sectoral branches, can be a valuable partner for developing projects, commercial relationships, and also collaborations. We associate many women-led businesses across various sectors, and we can dedicate special attention to specific policies for women entrepreneurship through our branch, that is CNA Impresa Donna, CNA Women Enterprise. The purpose of our projects, and I'm going to the conclusion, is broad, both in terms of typology and target markets. Regarding Africa, for example, a continent to which I currently see particular attention being given, I want to highlight ongoing initiatives in Mozambique, Senegal, Tunisia, Ethiopia, and others in the planning phase, in addition to our participation in the Italy-Africa Business Week from its very first beginning. Let me conclude with a very personal note. I'm an entrepreneur in the audiovisual sector. I have a small cartoon production company, and in my life, I have had the opportunity to participate in many international fairs and events, initiatives in general, also thanks to tenders and incentives and funds made available by institutions. And these events have opened my mind and put me in contact with an international network of professionals and businesses. I was lucky enough to meet people who were enlightening, were really inspirational for me. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but these people were almost all women, and I consider them my mentors because they really motivated me and gave me inspiration, allowing me to take professional and entrepreneurial steps that I would never have been able to take otherwise. We must work to increase the number of women in businesses in all sectors, because with their approach and their mentality, they can give a decisive contribution to the construction of a more prosperous and innovative economy, and also a more balanced and fairer economy from all points of view. I would love to share with you much more data, but I would be too long. Let me stop here. I express gratitude once again to CDP for this opportunity, and I confirm our willingness to plan future actions together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you for describing your own experience as female entrepreneur, also with an international point of view, and the role of CNA. Thank you and goodbye. And now, what is the role of institutional international networks in achieving economic and financial women's empowerment? I am really honored to leave the floor to Anna Maria Tartaglia, Women 7 co-chair, and Women 20 head of delegation. Please, I leave you the floor, Anna Maria. Can you please unmute your microphone, Anna Maria? Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry for this.
Thank you.
So happy to be here with you, and happy for the invitation and to share with you who we are and what we are doing and what we are willing to do in the future. Probably not everyone knows who Women 7 and Women 20 are, We are civil society. We are the official engagement groups of G20 and G7. And what we did and we will continue to do in the future is to address gender inequalities, establish sustainable development policies, employee and fund strategies to support the empowerment of women. One of our main tasks is the work that we are doing and we will continue to do in entrepreneurs and finance. The consultation in the different countries consistently highlight the urgency of working to achieve increasing involvement and representation of women in these issues, and is what we started to do and we will continue to do in the next future, both as Women 7 and both Women 20. As Women 20, starting from the work made with the Italian committee, we were focused on ensuring equal rights to ownership of assets and to remove barriers to financial inclusion for all women, facilitating the access to finance and capacity building for all, in particular for the micro entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, creating policy framework and strategic growth initiative, creating public procurement and access to markets initiative, and last but not least, promoting private and public investment. The starting point was for us to place gender equality at the heart of budgeting decisions, ensure equal representation of women at all levels of decision making, collect, analyze, and report on all areas identified using gender sensitive data, promote education, and develop gender impact assessment. Our last communique and our last work made with the Indian presidency as W20 has continued the work that we did as Indonesian presidency and Italian presidency, facilitating the access to markets, increasing finance, collateral, and capital for women, promoting women entrepreneurial policy framework and ecosystem, encouraging gender-responsive public procurement, and last but not least, asking to the government to allocating a minimum of 5% of the global minimum corporate tax to fund women-owned micro, small, medium entrepreneurs. This is what we have done till now as W20, but the same kind of work we did as W7 before in 2022 with the German presidency and now under the Japanese presidency. We continue to work with our task force for women empowerment and leadership. We were totally focused on women's economic justice and care economy. We continue to work on feminist foreign policy for sustainability and justice. And again, last but not least, on accountability and financing for gender equality. As Pasquale Salzano, President, say, next year Italy will have the presidency of the G7, and we, as engagement group of the civil society, will continue to work on some of the key topics and key important things that we achieved also in the past. What we did was to discuss with the Italian presidency some of the topics that will be developed around environmental, energy, work and artificial intelligence, migration and peace. And after 2 months of consultation with the Italian civil society, the W7 committee has outlined the topics for the 2024 Women 7 Summit and work. We will be focused on financial empowerment, climate justice, peace and security, violence against girls and women, migrations, and artificial intelligence. We will launch very soon our call for identifying in more than 30 countries all around the world, the advisors that will work for us for the creation on the next communiqué that we will deliver to the Italian presidency during our meeting. And we hope that part of our work will be included in the G7 final declaration leaders, because we know that much work has been done in the recent year to foster the growth of sustainable finance and women's economic and financial independence. But we are conscious that all these topics will remain central issue, not only for G20 countries, but also for G7 ones. And there is still room for improvement. And our goal and our main goal is to continue to work and to represent civil society and entrepreneurs on these topics.
Thank you so much, Anna Maria, for being with us today and for providing a broad overview of the W20, in particular W7 commitments and activities. As you said, and President Salzano said before, the efforts of the W7 are particularly significant for us in view of the upcoming Italian G7 presidency next year in 2024, which will have women empowerment as one of its priorities. Thank you and goodbye, Anna Maria.
Thank you.
And now let me remind you that today's conference is hosted by the CDP Business Matching platform, a tool jointly developed by CDP in cooperation with the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and CIMEST. The platform is an innovative tool designed to strengthen trade relations between Italian and foreign companies, facilitating the establishment of new business relationships. And it allows companies to organize and participate in B2B meetings in a very smart way, totally free of charge. During the registration process, a company can indicate if it's a woman-led company. This is allow us to increase a women business community within the platform that will benefit of several initiatives, such as exclusive B2B sessions and digital events. Let's watch together a brief video of the CDP Business Matching platform.
There is a smart way to increase your business and meet new Italian partners. Discover CDP Business Matching, the network that connects your company with Italian firms selected according to your business needs. CDP Business Matching is free and smart. Register now on businessmatching.cdp.it, select your goals, and meet the most suitable Italian partners for your business.
I think is an incredible platform. I think they're going to be able to connect a lot of people together. I myself have connected already through them, and I wait to see how many more partnerships and more businesses that I can do together through the platform.
CDP Business Matching allowed us to enlarge our business and consent us every day to be more competitive in foreign market, very complex and far.
Shape your network. Join now CDP Business Matching on businessmatching.cdp.it and take part in the next digital event.
Now let's open the panel about the role of CDP Group in favor of female entrepreneurs. Allow me to welcome Giulia Paoli, Senior Corporate Relationship Manager at CDP, and Francesca Alicata, Head of External Relations at CIMEST. Let's start with Giulia Paoli. Giulia, buon pomeriggio. I leave you the floor.
Buon pomeriggio. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to join this event and getting to explain what the role of CDP in favor of female entrepreneurship is. My name is Giulia Paoli, and my role within CDP is to build and maintain relationships with our national corporates in Tuscany, in my specific case, in order to support them in their process of growth and development by being their financial partner in the medium and long term. But let's take a step back by clearly defining and understanding what CDP is. As you all know, CDP is a national promotional institution whose primary mission is to support Italy's sustainable growth. As far as corporates are concerned, This essentially means that we actively support them in their growth plans by providing our tools, expertise, and above all, our financial resources to achieve these goals. But being a national promotional institution implies that we need to take into account many aspects when evaluating an investment or a project, as defined by our articles of association in general terms. In line with this and more in detail, CDP's 2022 to 2024 strategic plan identifies the sectoral strategic guidelines that represent the group's priorities and at the same time indicates the instruments to be used to fill the gaps, as well as how to assess our activities' impact, specifically economic, social, and environmental impact. So how does all of this materialize and work in practice? In addition to the standard dimensions, financial, economic, legal, to name a few, we positively value all the investments and projects that have a beneficial impact in terms of environment and society. Within this last point, what we take into account while assessing the social impact is everything that is directly or indirectly linked to employment, with a special focus on specific themes such as underprivileged areas and, in particular, gender equality. This has to be interpreted in its widest meaning and implications, namely suggesting that CDP strongly favors corporates that show and promote female entrepreneurship and managerial governance. Now, in my day-to-day activity, meetings and dialogues, I recognize that clearly a lot of work still has to be done, especially in mid-regional, family-owned corporates that represent the backbone of the Italian business system. In the past couple of decades, women have taken on more and more managing roles. But while in the financial world, this process is faster and far ahead, statistics in Italian companies show that only in 40% of them, women cover at least 25% of managing roles. This is reflected in what I see every day. And we still get surprised when we meet realities where these numbers are inverted, especially in smaller and family-owned businesses. I would like to quote a specific case where a client, a relevant player in the fashion sector, told me that the whole finance department was made of women, 10 in total. And she was explaining to me that there was no specific reason to this in terms of underlying requirement or corporate policy, but just that while building up the team, the best profits that she got were of women. Well, I hope that this process can move forward and speed up, and that in the future we'll get less and less surprised by similar circumstances, which will mean that this will be the new normal. And I think that national promotional institutions have a crucial role in this process to act as leaders and actively promote this transition, as well as an awareness on these sensitive themes. It is a difficult challenge indeed, but as such, it can create several opportunities. And as CDP, we are proud to contribute to this important change. Thank you very much for your attention, and back to you, Carlotta.
Thank you very much, Giulia, for outlining the crucial role of the national promotional institutions as CDP in fostering female entrepreneurship and in creating a positive impact. Grazie mille, goodbye. And for what concerns in particular the SMEs, how can CMES within the CDP group provide support to female businesses? I'm very pleased to leave the floor to Francesca Alicata, Head of External Relations at CMES. Good afternoon, Francesca. I leave you the floor.
Thank you, Carlotta. Good afternoon to everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to be here today at this event focused on women's leadership and balanced gender. Before talking about my company's current focus on diversity and inclusion, I would like to say a few words about myself and my history as a female manager. Prior to my current position, I worked for many years in the banking industry, and over the course of my career, I've done a variety of jobs, and at times it was very difficult because a woman has to demonstrate more. In my career, I have always focused on the desire to learn and ask for training without being shy, about asking for more responsibility and expanding my skills. At the beginning, I didn't have the same opportunity as male colleagues. What helped me a lot during the years is that I believe in myself. Now things are changed, are different. The way of thinking has changed. Thanks to the sacrifice of many women, we have more opportunities, and we start to pay more attention to gender balance. Now my team is composed of women, and I believe on them. I encourage them to express their innovative ideas and increase their involvement. In the past, I have listened often phrases that I hate, like, but she works part-time, so she cannot have a position of responsibility, or she has to leave at 5 p.m., so she cannot only do normal office work without much chance of a career, or she is too young. In the last years in my company, thanks also the presence of a woman CEO, those kind of barriers are breaking down. Simest is a CDP group company involved in facilitating the international growth of Italian enterprises with the two priority activities. The first one, we are minority equity partner in Italian enterprises worldwide. And the second one regarding the providing of subsidized loans supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in order to invest and be more competitive in the international markets. We are in 130 countries worldwide with more than 23,000 Italian enterprises as a partner for more than 30 billion of euro. At the beginning of the year, we had launched the 2025 strategy plans focused on 4 specific areas. One of these regarding people. We are witnessing a shift from a model where the leader is at the center of the organization to one where teamwork, collaboration, competencies, and well-being are the watchwords. According to this vision, opportunity arise from inclusion. So we are working on a management strategy focused on an inclusive corporate culture, based on the enhancement and power of individual differences as factor of innovation improvement of personal goals. We are defining the clear strategy goals in our 2025 plan, new company organization with an improvement in the gender balance of managers, 46% professional women in strategic role, and more opportunities for younger managers. Starting from this year, we have also put in place blind selection of new colleagues without knowing gender, abroad physical aspect, with a specific goal, 50 to 15 gender balance on new entries. We have also worked in order to reduce the gender gap, the gender pay gap in the 2023 MBO review, and we will continue to work in it also in the new years. This is Siemens now, and I love this kind of approach where diversity is power and good generates goods in an economic, governance, and environment view. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to you, Francesca, for being with us today. Thank you and goodbye. And now, before proceeding with our roundtable discussions, I would like to show you a very short video of a success story of an Indian female company, Janavi India, which, thanks to our CDP Business Matching platform, came into contact with Italian counterparts. Let's watch the video together.
So Janavi India. We're a 25-year-old company based out of New Delhi, India. Our artisans are 350 people who work with a lot of dedication and love. I'm originally from Kashmir, and as you can see, I'm wearing this beautiful shawl which was woven in Kashmir. I think is an incredible platform. I think they're going to be able to connect a lot of people together. I myself have connected already through them, and I wait to see how many more partnerships and more businesses that I can do together through the platform. My introduction to the CDP was the Italian embassy in India. We were introduced, and I was asked to be on a platform on women empowerment on the 4th of October this year. Women empowerment. I smile when I say this because I think every woman has the power. CDP is a great platform where people are very, very happy to share company information, where the team can handhold you to different companies to grow your own business. Where in the world would you feel that there is somebody in a country not your own, where you feel the security of growing your business with companies like yours? Thank you.
We now turn our attention to the next panel, Women Building a Sustainable Future, with our distinguished guest. Let me welcome Monica Peraza-Oquigli, founder and CEO of Just, Francesca De Gottardo, co-founder and CEO of Endelea, and Carmen Rion, founder of Carmen Rion. Welcome and thank you very much for being here today with us. Let me remind you that each speaker will have 5 minutes to answer each question. I kindly ask you to respect the timing so that everyone has the opportunity to provide their insights. So I would like to start with Monica Peraza. Monica, good morning, dear Monica, from connecting from Montana. Through your B Corp Just, you promote partnerships with creators, brands, and artisan groups around the world. In this process, how do you value and support female entrepreneurship, and in which countries in particular? Yes, please unmute your microphone, Monica. Thank you very much.
Now I'm on mute.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Carlotta, and congratulations on the business platform. I think it's a great way to connect women. Just is my 8th venture, and the third one very focused on gender. So the vision of Just is to empower 150 million women across the globe through technology solutions, e-learning, and e-commerce. And on the e-commerce, we're very focused on providing access to markets to women creators. We call women creators the women that make products, being women owner of brands, women designers, or women artisans. For the women artisans, we develop an application for women in the Global South to enable to access international markets, get payments, and have a whole curriculum of e-learning. So the company is very focused on gender. We were born as a gender-focused company, and we're very well aware of what the previous speakers have spoke about, the issue that women have a limited time to do business, the issue that it's not easy for them to access international markets, it's not easy for them to grow their businesses. And so with that in mind, we created different solutions to resolve these barriers that women have across the globe. We find that international markets, and Davos was very clear on 2020, they made a statement that the access to international markets through e-commerce really solves that problem that many women creators have, and that is when you make products and you want to sell them in your environment, you have a lot more competition than when you go abroad, and especially in markets like the United States, which is the largest market in the world. And everybody wants to get here. And in 20 years ago, the only ones that were able to sell in the US were brands who had a brick and mortar that had the money to invest a lot of money. But now with e-commerce and other tools, it's a lot easier for brands to have a presence in international markets and with marketplaces like ours.
And Monica, how important is it for a company to be international active? How do you help women entrepreneurs to export around the world?
So I think it's very important because your local market is very limited. Italian companies are amazing, and I can give you a very quick example. The sweater that I'm wearing, I bought it in Padova when I was invited to a panel there. And if I had the information of this maker and I could buy more of these products, I would certainly buy them. But it was a one-to-one chance. So that happens a lot with brands. Italian brands are known worldwide for their amazing design. And sometimes you only buy the products when you visit Italy. You don't have access to them internationally. I feel that the easiest way for a company to be able to scale is to access international markets. How do we do that? Our platform has many tools. We have tools of bringing them relevant information. For example, we just launched the campaign of what is the Pantone color of next year, and for all our designers to be mindful of what are the tones that are coming. But also in the platform, they receive already the label to be able to ship internationally at much lower prices. One of the key situations that happens with small businesses is that shipping is the factor that gets them out of the competition of international markets, because their price points are good, but when you add the shipping cost, that is a deal breaker for many of them. We try to handhold the designers in a sense of, this is what we need from you, engage with us. We have brands that have been very successful because they're very engaged with us. They send us new materials, they send us videos, and we have a huge presence in all the social media platforms, and we promote each of those designers individually. So the more they engage with us, the more we can market them in this country, that the market is just huge and has an acquisition power a lot bigger than any other country. So for Italian brands, I think it will be a deal breaker for you to be able to sell in markets internationally, and especially in North America and the rest of Europe.
Thank you very much, Monica. Thank you very much. I think that sharing your experience and the experience of Just will be really beneficial to all the companies and to all the female entrepreneurs connected. And I hope that we can create strong synergy between Just and our CDP platform. Thank you very much. And now let's hear an Italian female entrepreneur, Francesca De Gottardo, co-founder and CEO of Endelea. Buon pomeriggio, Francesca. Endelea is a benefit corporation that lives between Italy and Tanzania. Now we are connected right now from Tanzania, and is consistent with an approach that focuses on people and creativity, building value for both customers and communities involved in the supply chain. What do you do to promote sustainability in the fashion industry, and why do you think this is relevant now?
Well, of course, we all think it's relevant now, no? I mean, fashion is doing a lot of harm to the planet and people, And so now more than ever, it's our time to prove that fashion can and must be good. It can become a force for good. What we're doing to promote sustainability in this industry is different actions, starting from our own supply chain and our own way of producing clothes, and giving the example to other brands and to customers by paying our workers here in Tanzania 116% more than the average salary of the country, with zero gender pay gap, by offering them free meals, free transport, free health insurances for them and the children, and free English classes, for example. But another way to promote sustainability is by also being fully transparent about our supply chain, thanks to the digital product passport that we recently implemented on our clothes. And that therefore allows us to be also fully accountable for all the choices that we make along our value chain. So every Endelea cloth comes with a QR code that gives full access to all, the materials, the trims, the labels, every single part of the clothes, where it comes from, who is the tailor that made the clothes, and videos of the behind the scenes, explanations of the meaning of our name and what we're doing in Tanzania. And it really is a way to connect the clothes to the person who's wearing it and to the person who made it. Another way of promoting sustainability is for sure by networking with other sustainable partners here in Africa, but also in Europe. It's a way to support other realities that are trying to make a change. And it's also a way to maximize our impact as a collective impact. And I think that is the key also for the future, as sustainability still lies a lot on the shoulder of small brands and small companies and brave entrepreneurs. Of course, by working together, we can be stronger. And of course, another thing that we do with Endelea is creating opportunities for others. We reinvest 3% of our net sales in sponsoring educational programs here in Tanzania. We are partners with the University of Dar es Salaam. We created our own accelerator program for emerging designers. We brought a designer from Dior to Dar es Salaam to mentor emerging designers. And in general, all the activities that are non-profit for us here are aimed at strengthening skills and allowing the growth of a local fashion industry and of local entrepreneurs that can create new job positions and change the economy of a developing country like Tanzania. All in all, in a year, we have on average and a direct and a tangible impact on over 320 people in East Africa. And that's for sure a way to promote sustainability. And lastly, and also not for that reason less important, advocacy is part of sustainability. Being here with you today and sharing what we're doing and showing that it's possible even for small brands should prompt bigger brands to do the same, and should definitely show customers that they have a power. As customers, we all have a power. All our purchases matter. We can choose to shop from sustainable brands, not only fashion, of course, but every single thing that we buy every day has an impact on someone, either a few kilometers away from us or on the other side of the world. So, of course, advocating for sustainability is also part of our mission, and improving that all together, we can really change the way fashion and in general business is, and really making a positive impact for the future generations and for the current ones in our planet.
Thank you, Francesca. And you share with me that Dream Bold is your motto, because it literally sums up the commitment you make on a daily basis and what you want to achieve. So what is your experience as a female entrepreneur creating a startup? So I would like to know what was your biggest challenge, and what is the value of developing a network among women entrepreneurs?
Well, the challenges are so many. I think my fellow panelists can confirm that. The important thing is that you're not really aware of all of them when you start, and so you just discover them as you go. But definitely in my case, there were challenges like linked more to the fact that one of my two companies is in another continent. And of course, half of my team comes from a very different cultural background. So definitely, the dialogue that we were able to build over these first 4 years of our story has been challenging, but also very rewarding at the same time. So that is definitely one of the most difficult challenges. But coming back to Italy and staying in Italy, of course, having to deal with the bureaucracy is also not easy at all. And of course, in my own, personal story, coming from archaeology and not really having, knowledge in a lot of fields that are required in managing a company, also proved to be challenging, but again, very rewarding. I think there's a lot of space for personal growth when you are an entrepreneur, and especially when you are a woman, that the space there for growth is even more. I think we are the first, the first generations, plural, but of women entrepreneurs. And this thing that we're doing has never been done before. 100 years ago, it was very hard to find women starting their own companies. So whatever we're doing is new and challenging. And so definitely being a woman in the startup ecosystem represents a challenge itself. It has also its pros, not only cons. And definitely the biggest one is the high tendency of women founders to help each other, to share knowledge, to help each other, to share information. And somehow, as the speakers before me mentioned, like being mentors to each other. Probably because we are the first ones doing this, we are aware that we need help, and we are aware that we received help. So we are more open to give it back to others. Sorry for the light. These are the perks of being in Tanzania. There's a power cut. I'm sorry. Il bello della diretta. Okay, the light is back. Very sorry about that. I was just mentioning, the importance of developing a network with other women entrepreneurs is the fact that not only we can share practical resources to help each other, like who's your accountant and how did you solve this issue with logistics? For example, since logistics was just mentioned as one of the biggest challenges, but also, we can share psychological support and again, help younger entrepreneurs in avoiding mistakes that we've already made, knowing that we have been helped ourselves by other entrepreneurs. It feels like this good energy that runs between women founders somehow is different when it comes to men, probably because men have had these for thousands of years and give it more for granted. We need more reassurance in a way, and the support that we give each other is that kind of reassurance and good energy. And I really think this feminine rhythm we're using in managing our companies, in taking decisions, in supporting other entrepreneurs rather than seeing them as enemies, is really the way of the future of doing business. And our challenges prove that it can work. But we're so proud of doing this, of having this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Francesca. We can see directly the difficulties you can experience in your activity. Thank you very much. And it seems to me that there are many points of connection between you and Monica. And I think there are also many, I hope, with Carmen Rion, our next speaker, who is also active in the fashion industry. Good morning, Carmen. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, Carmen. You are considered a pioneer in the rescue of traditional textiles from Mexico and their integration into contemporary fashion, not only in Mexico, but also abroad. So how important is it for you to recover the ancient traditions in order to build a sustainable future?
Well, for me, it was a very, started as a dream, maybe. I was really interested in my career. I was interested in the textiles and the symbols and all what they represent, the way they dress, and the way they use their dresses for parties, for special events. So since that moment, I had that dream to work with the artisans, but then life took me to many places. So I'm a graphic but textile designer too. So I went to make the master to Basilea, Switzerland. And when I came back, I started just working, like everybody, and looking for jobs, etc. Suddenly, I started to go into fashion, but in my own way, making small collections. And suddenly, I was invited by some people from Chiapas to work with artisans, and they brought me some fabrics and things that they were not so good quality. So I asked them, well, let's go and I'll give a workshop to them. I used to be teacher also in design in the university. So finally I went there. There was a group of 180 people, women, all from different communities, but very well organized already. Most of them didn't speak Spanish. They speak Tzotzil or Tzeltal, and we have translators. But then we made some very interesting exercises. My own work was based very much in geometry. So I showed them what I did. And that opened me a very good, a huge door, because they were waiting me to show them like a pattern, the classic pattern, the figure. And it was not like that, because their own work and their own design comes from the loom. So the loom is the one that says how to do the things. And that's, for me, so interesting because it's direct with the fabric and it's all connected. As we are educated, or the way we live, you have to go to the factory or you have to go to the store and buy a fabric and then cut it and then do whatever you can. And then you have a lot of leftovers. They don't have leftovers. There are no leftovers in them. So I think it's not that I rescue nothing. I found them. I mean, they are like that. They live like that. And they have all this wisdom to create, to live. I mean, in the pandemic time, I asked them, because I mean, I just tell you, I'm not very good talking like this, but originally there were 180 people that wanted to work with me, but I'm only me. Then I looked for some foundation. I was losing my time with, searching help. At the end, I started with 40 people, and that's the same ones that we still are together after 20 years. So I couldn't make it bigger because it's very difficult to have the communication, direct communication with the people, and being like a entrepreneur or whatever, or a big factory or we're not, we're very small as them. So during the pandemic, I called them and I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make the payments very fast because we have no sales, we are closed. They say, okay, don't worry, we're cool here. We have our pollos, we have our food. We take care of the COVID with Posh, which is the drink that they have. So they have a very interesting way of living, surviving, and having a very good quality life. Even we think sometimes that they are so poor, but they are not so poor. I mean, they have another way of life. And that's what I've learned. In my experience, that's what they gave me. I gave them like, okay, a little bit of design, and let's make this kind of pieces and we will sell them like this. But mostly the inspiration and all the rescue comes from them, not from me. So for me, it's been like that. And now more and more the young women are learning a lot of design. They now have other technologies. They bought some big machines from China, where they make the automatic cross point. How do you say it? Embroidery with the cross. So They are now designers. They are more designers now, but it's not a new thing for them because they come directly from their grandmothers and grandparents. So I don't really think I can do much more than what I do. And they also work with the men together, the wives. I don't see that they are suffering much about the men thing, really.
Yes.
No, I don't know what else to tell you,
Yeah. So we think that building a sustainable future is not a dream, Carmen, but there could be barriers. So according to you, what are the main barriers to female entrepreneurship, and what kind of approach do we need to promote female entrepreneurs?
I think education. I think in education, and education is the first one, in the schools, in the primary schools, we have to make education into art, into crafts, and also the quality of men and women. Absolutely. Because yes, I find out that the girls didn't go to the school, to the whole school. They just went to 6 years at primary school. And then in some families. And the men, they go and make the carrera, the whatever is, they make all their studies. But at the end, after that, they work together. I don't know how they manage, but they don't do it so bad as it seems. So what I will do is make the art schools, the crafts, and also the threads, the material. The industry has to close the door to polyester and plastic. I don't know how we're going to do that, but it's incredible. We need to have the natural fibers and to promote the agriculture of natural fibers. Mexico, you go to a store and it's all polyester. It's only one cotton, manta, which is the rough fabric. So that is the thing that I will push that very much, and education, obviously.
Thank you very much, Carmen, for sharing your experience and for your inspiring words. And thank you to all our guests. I hope that your valuable work can be an inspiration for all female companies. And let me address a special thanks to Monica, who helped me in shaping this panel. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. So we are now right to the last panel of our webinar. How can inclusive innovation foster women-led companies in Africa? Let me present our distinguished guests. Aisha Zakraoui, Head of Impact and Sustainability at African Vest. Shaima Meligi, Director of International Affairs and Development Partners Relations at the Federation of Egyptian Industry and member of BusinessMat. Jackie Malomba, founder and main partner of Afri Women Connect, and Megan McCormick, co-founder and CEO of Aussie. So all our speakers are connected from various parts of Africa. The first speaker is Aisha Zakraoui, Head of Impact and Sustainability at African Vest, live from Tunisia. Good evening, good afternoon, Aisha. Thank you for being here. Good evening. So, how does African Vest promote female entrepreneurship in Africa and gender-lens investments?
So, yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Really happy to be with you today. So, thank you for this really great question, Carlotta. So, at African Vest, we are really deeply committed to promoting female entrepreneurship and gender-lens investment and have embedded this throughout our investment process. We begin by actively identifying and supporting exceptional female-led enterprises, such as Ose, which Megan, the co-founder, will later discuss in detail, particularly their role in empowering women-owned or led SME in Ghana and Nigeria. We are also focused on building pipeline of women-owned businesses by supporting and participating in various programs aimed at encouraging more women to pursue entrepreneurship. And also beyond the identification of women-owned businesses, our engagement extends to in-depth analysis after sourcing So we review each investment against the 2X challenge criteria and our own gender equity criteria and policy before moving it to the investment committee. Each gap or enhancement in this regard will be embedded into the portfolio company value creation action plan to influence not only their internal operation and create a workplace more conducive to women empowerment, but also to develop product and services more tailored to women clients. So I will take the example maybe of a financial institution in our portfolio where during the due diligence, we noticed that women comprised 40% of the workforce, but then there were less than 20% of women within the senior management. We wondered, where all these women went. So there was definitely here a case that we see a lot, across, I think, the industry of leaky pipeline, which prompted us to conduct a technical assistance project focused on gender equality and women empowerment. So this project has resulted in a 3-year gender action plan that goes beyond traditional human resource boundaries by also researching and developing credit product tailored for women-owned SME and addressing broader entrepreneurial challenge like access to credit and collateral alternative. This leads me to the importance of our technical assistance program supported by our limited partners and most importantly CDP, our esteemed LP, which really aims to provide additional support and empower more women. So this, even though gender consideration are a mandatory aspect for our company, we are very supportive and try to provide what I would call a healthy tension. To this end, we offer supplementary support in various forms that can take, for example, the form of unconscious bias training. It's also about enhancing corporate governance to increase diversity. It could take the form of conducting in-depth evaluation of salary gap or establishing mentorship program, for example. And then post-investment, we work with this portfolio company to make sure that they produce a significant impact delta in women's empowerment alongside the financial delta. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. You said African Invest promotes gender diversity and empowerment in the portfolio companies. In this context, from your point of view, what is the link between innovation and female entrepreneurship?
Okay, thank you. That's an excellent question. The connection between innovation and female entrepreneurship is both deep and varied. Based on what we have seen and learned at Africa Invest throughout our 30 years track record, maybe I would share some insight on this link. So first, women bring a unique perspective to the business domain, fueling innovation. At Africa Invest, we often say, be dragonfly, not flatfish, emphasizing the value of multiple viewpoints rather than having eyes on one side like flatfish. And women in leadership role bring fresh idea and challenge traditional method, vital for innovative thinking. A notable example is InstaDeep, which is one of the company we recently exited to BioNTech. InstaDeep, which is recognized as one of the top 100 most innovative private artificial intelligence company globally, was co-founded by a brilliant woman who sought to bring equality and equity into technology. Her vision alongside her team at InstaDeep has led to significant changes to drive inclusive economic growth, improve healthcare, and enhance efficiency in myriads of sectors, including agriculture. Then second, female entrepreneurs often excel at identifying and addressing market needs that might be overlooked by their male counterparts. Women-led businesses, for example, would sometimes focus on the requirement of the woman, thereby accessing markets that have traditionally been underserved. A notable example is the field of femtech, what we call female technology, which encompasses a wide range of solutions designed to improve healthcare for women. This sector boasts a significant and growing market size ranging from $500 million to $1 billion, which is quite promising. And so, for example, through our female co-led Transform Health Fund, our innovative blended finance vehicle, we identify this kind of opportunity in femtech, which further increase innovation as regard to women empowerment. Then, third, I would say that innovation would also have a link in creating products and services that are specifically designed for women entrepreneurs. I will take another example of another of our portfolio company, Move, which is a global fintech company offering revenue-based vehicle financing and financial services to mobility entrepreneurs. So Move is committed to ensuring that 50% of the drivers, what we call mobility entrepreneurs, are women. So to this end, they have developed an alternative artificial intelligence-driven credit scoring system tailored to women to align with Move criteria and foster gender-focused products. This strategy not only broadens access for women entrepreneurs, but also ensure that technology is used to actively remove biases in our human-machine interaction, thereby harnessing artificial intelligence as a tool for promoting gender equality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. You said women-led businesses tend to develop more inclusive products and services, considering a wider range of customer needs and experiences. So we start here to introduce the next panelist, Shaima Meligi, live from Cairo. Shaima, you are the Director of International Affairs and Relations with the Development Partners at the Federation of Egyptian Industry and a member of BusinessMed. So can you tell us how BusinessMed promotes female entrepreneurship and what role does the economic and financial empowerment of women play?
Thank you very much, Carlotta, and thanks for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be among all these distinguished speakers. So concerning BusinessMed and the very important topic that you are raising today, which is how can innovation foster women economic empowerment? We all know that inclusive innovation can play a vital role in fostering women-led companies, either by addressing barriers, either by creating supportive ecosystem and providing opportunities for women entrepreneurs. Here we're talking about mainly three main topics: access to finance, supporting ecosystem, and digital literacy or inclusion. When it comes to access to finance, we know that inclusive innovation can introduce a financial model that cater specifically to the needs of women entrepreneurs. This may involve creating microfinance programs, venture capital funds with a focus on women-led businesses, and facilitating access to traditional banking services. For example, business associations should improve women access to information about funds and tenders available. We as BusinessMed found that often women are not aware of what is out there. Therefore, targeted information campaigns on funds, sub-grants, and investment opportunities are important. So through our project, the project funded by the EU called the IPSOMED project, we have managed to provide specific training on how to submit to international funds for BSOs for them to have specific activity to support women entrepreneurs. Specific funding opportunities are also provided by BusinessMed with the projects like InvestMed and Create4Med, targeting sectors that tend to heavily employ women, such as cultural, creative industries, blue and green economy. The second pillar, which is the supportive ecosystem, we know that creating inclusive innovation ecosystem involves establishing networks, incubators, and accelerators, specifically designed to support women-led businesses. These environments offer mentorship, networking, and resources to help women entrepreneurs overcome challenges in their respective industries. So we know as BusinessMed members, who are the business support organization from the north and south of the Mediterranean, that we are taking the issue of women entrepreneurs close to our heart. So we see this within the thematic committee of women and youth entrepreneurs, where employers are tackling the issue of access to open innovation, business network and skills and education for successful entrepreneurship. The last thing is technology and digital inclusion, which we mentioned before. Here we need to understand that by promoting digital literacy and ensuring access to technology, inclusive innovation can empower women to leverage digital platforms for business growth. This includes e-commerce, includes as well online marketing and other digital tools that can enhance the visibility and reach of women-led businesses. Here I want also to highlight on a very important outcome that came out of IPSOMED project, and it is under the umbrella of BusinessMed, which is the Business Country Desk. The Business Country Desk is an online platform that aims to attract investment to the southern neighborhood countries by providing information on economic climate. So maybe we can do things together with the CDP matching platform. We can merge efforts together. Thank you. Back to you, Carlotta.
Thank you, Shaima. So, in addition to being a member of BusinessMed, you have been selected as the first Egyptian in the B20 Women in Business Action Council, and in particular in the Task Force of Future of Work and Education. Moreover, this year, in 2023, you have founded a new international women empowerment initiative called She Powers. So, from your point of view, what are the main topics to be promoted regarding women's empowerment in business and finance within G20? And could you tell us about your project, She Powers, which companies can be involved and your reasons for launching it?
So, although Egypt is not one of the 20s of the G20, but I had the opportunity and the pleasure to be part of the B20 since 2019 in Japan. The Women in Business Action Council started in 2020 under the Saudi presidency of the G20. And it was a very good gesture from the Saudi presidency to start this Women in Business Action Council. In 2021, Italy took the lead from Saudi Arabia, continuing on the efforts of the Women in Business Action Council. And I here still remember one of the sentences which was raised in the recommendation by this council, and I took it as a slogan: women empower. We want to move from women empower to women in power. So how to reach this phase? That was the recommendations and the outcome of that business Women in Business Action Council. 2022, Indonesia got the presidency, and they continued the effort working on the Women in Business Action Council, and they got highlighting three main pillars, which are women empowering women entrepreneurs, enabling women's digital and leadership capabilities, and promoting safe workplace. The first pillar, which is empowering women entrepreneurs, here they focused on identifying and establishing the critical ecosystem that enables access to finance, legal, and other entrepreneurial technical assistance, as well as develop a global women business network to simulate cross-border knowledge sharing and investment into women-led businesses. And also they tackled in the pillar of enabling women digital and leadership capacities, equipping more girls with STEM skills, and accelerating women access to digital skills, and strengthening skills to women to undertake leadership. And during the presidency of Indonesia, they created or they developed a wonderful tool as well called Ogwe, which is One Global Women Entrepreneurs platform. That platform gather together all the success stories, funding resources, technical experience for women entrepreneurs. During the Indian presidency this year, the women in business was a cross-cutting theme in all the other task forces, and the outcomes of all the previous Women in Business Action Council now is under the umbrella of the IOE, International Organization of Employers. So I really wish that the W7 and W20 would build on all these great efforts that happened in the G20, B20 during the last years. Concerning my initiative, She Powers, actually, I consider it as a fruit of all this wonderful experience that I have passed through. Either it's via the B20, either it's through Business Med, either it's through the Arab Labor Organization or the International Labor Organization. I found out that a lot of success stories and projects and experiences are happening in different places of the world. Maybe other countries don't know about it. Maybe we can replicate this in different places. Maybe we can merge efforts to get the best out of it. That's why She Powers came into light this year, focusing on 4 pillars. The first one is access to education with a special focus on STEM education and TVET education for women. The second pillar is the job creation for women. So it's raising the capacity of women to be able to compete in the workforce, so it would be easier to find jobs and to convince the private sector and enterprises to offer more jobs for women. The third pillar is supporting the women-led entrepreneurs and startups, how to give advices, technical and financial advices to these startups and enterprises. The last but not least is business linkages and enhancing trade and investment among our members. The initiative is taking a geographical focus on Europe, Middle East and Africa. That's why I'm very happy to be here today with people from Europe, people from Latin America, people from Africa, to build on the existing wonderful efforts and build a stronger network among the speakers of today. So I would be really grateful if we can put us all in contact to build on that. And for sure, the companies of the members of She Powers can get use of that. We are implementing activities such as training programs, awareness and informative sessions, and access to market orientation sessions, as well as some B2B linkages events. Back to you, Carlotta, and I really wish a successful presidency for Italy 2024 for the W7. Thank you. Oh, for the G7, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also for the activities of W7, of course, next year. Thank you very much, Shaima, and thanks to our friends from Confindustria who put us in touch with you. And I hope we can collaborate again with you. Thank you, Shaima. And now let me introduce our next speaker from Kenya. We have women from all over the world. From Kenya, we have Jackie Malomba, founder and main partner at AfriWomen Connect. So we got in touch with Jackie thanks to the E4Impact network, which I'd like to thank very much for the support. Jackie, you are the founder of AfriWomen Connect and have many women-led businesses in your network. Why is it so relevant to support female entrepreneurship in Africa?
Thank you very, very much. And greetings from Kenya. Thank you, Carlotta. It's been wonderful engaging with you throughout the last couple of weeks, preparing for this. And I'm very happy to be here, happy to meet all these wonderful women, our chief guests, and everybody else. And thank you very much for just putting this together. Very nice. And I like the last speaker's slogan. Women empower to women in power. I really, really like that. And that's one of the things I'm taking away from this. Okay, so thank you for your question. It's very, very important to have these women entrepreneurship for us to support them. And it's very, very relevant. And we have a lot of benefits that come with that. And I will just touch on a few of them. One of them, of course, is the obvious one, economic growth, both for the woman at her own level, individual level, for her family, for her community, and for the country that she's serving in, and even in the region. In this case, I'm talking about Africa. So we experience a lot of economic growth when we include women or when we empower women. So when women participate in the economy as entrepreneurs, they bring innovation, creativity, and unique perspective that can drive economic development. Why am I saying this? Women come with ideas. They know exactly what women need. And I always say entrepreneurship is when you identify a need that can, a product that can serve a certain need in a community or in a given setup, or a product or a service. And so women being women who almost head the home, or they understand men, they bring up sons, they have their spouses, they have their brothers. So they know what men need, and they also know what women need. So it's just bringing that innovation and creativity into the entrepreneurship space. The other benefit, or why it is relevant for women to be empowered, is job creation, of course. Entrepreneurship comes with job creation. Women-led businesses are significant contributors to job creation. By supporting and fostering the growth of women entrepreneurs, there is a ripple effect that results in increased employment opportunities, definitely, benefiting communities and families. And you know, when there's more money in the hands of individuals or families, then life gets better. So job creation is one, and therefore a lot of people are attracted to just empowering women so that we can have more jobs. Empowering women in business leads to the diversification of industries as well. Women entrepreneurs often bring fresh ideas. I talked about creativity earlier on, leading to the development of new products and services that can enhance the competitiveness of industries. We have a fourth benefit, which is increased productivity and efficiency. Studies show that companies with diverse leadership, where at least even women are included in key roles, such companies tend to be more productive and efficient. And I'm not having a bias for women, but I can proudly say that that is a research that has been done. So when we empower women in business, we enhance overall organizational performance and competitiveness. I belong to a network called Women on Boards Kenya, and Women on Boards Kenya thrives to ensure that at least women serve in each and every board that matters in this country called Kenya. So they advocate for women to serve in boards of key companies, key organizations, and even in government at leadership level. The other benefit I can talk about is consumer-based expansion. Women make up a significant portion of the consumer base. We consume quite a big chunk of whatever it is that is sold in our industries. So having women actively engage in business not only helps in understanding and meeting the needs of this demographic, but also expands overall consumer base, contributing to increased market opportunities. And you see, women know exactly what is required out there and what they themselves want. So that expansion is felt. The other one that's linked to the sustainable goals, the SDGs, is poverty alleviation. When you empower a woman, you actually empower a community, and it uplifts their social status. So empowering women economically is a powerful tool for poverty alleviation. Women, when given the resources and support to start and grow businesses, can lift themselves and their families out of poverty, contributing to broader social and economic development. I have personally experienced this from the work we do as Afri Women Connect, because we help women using the concept that was started in Bangladeshi. We help women create their own fund, borrow from it like a bank, and we call it stable banking here. So we get women in organized groups. In Kenya, they're called chamas. Otherwise, they're just collectives of women, very organized, and we give them administration. So we oversee, we guide them, we just make sure they have structures in the way they are operating. And you actually see the women's living standards being alleviated. They're able to take their children to school. They're able to take their children and themselves to hospital when they get sick. Their living standards start improving. They did not have proper housing, and you see them building themselves. And it's usually very sustainable because they're doing it from their own money and hard-earned money at that. They borrow money and save money to build businesses. And so we give them capacity building. We train them on how to do businesses and how to save and how to borrow. So it is actually a bank on the table. So that is what we support our women at the grassroots level to do. The other relevance is innovation and problem solving. Women entrepreneurs often bring a different perspective to problem solving and innovation. Empowering women in business fosters a culture of creativity, adaptability, leading to the development of solutions that address unique challenges in the market, challenges that would never have been thought of and solutions that would never have been thought of. So women bring that flavor into the market. Sustainable development. Women entrepreneurs are more likely to prioritize sustainable and social responsible business practice. By empowering women in business, there is a positive impact on environmental sustainability and community development. We also have the global competitiveness. Countries that harness a full potential of the women entrepreneurs enhance their global competitiveness. Diverse and inclusive businesses are better positioned to adapt to changing market dynamics and compete effectively at the international level or international stage. Social and cultural impact. Empowering women in the business sector can challenge traditional gender norms and contribute to societal transformation. Historically, it's known especially in Africa, where our social and cultural practices inhibit the things we do and how we do them. And as more women take leadership roles in business, in leadership, it sets a positive example for future generations and promotes gender equality. So empowering women actually promotes gender equality. In summary, I would say empowering women in the business sector is not just a matter of social justice, as we all think. It is a strategic imperative with far-reaching economic benefits that can positively transform communities and nations. Thank you so much, Carlotte.
Thank you to you, Jackie. So women in business, women who empower local communities, and women in innovation. The main focus of today's event is innovation and female entrepreneurship. How do you think, Jackie, innovative female enterprises can leverage the inclusive development and growth in Africa?
Thank you so much for that second question. And innovation can definitely address a lot of challenges. It helps us deal with our challenges, and as I've mentioned a few, we have a number of challenges that innovation now comes in to help us address. One of the challenges that has been mentioned by several speakers before me is access to finance. It's a big thorn in the flesh for entrepreneurs in Africa. A few years ago, a study was done in East Africa by Gracia Machel Foundation, and we found that the three main challenges facing women entrepreneurs is access to finance, access to markets, and then our social and cultural beliefs or inhibitions. And so access to finance is top on the list. So how does innovation come in? Microfinance and fintech solutions. These are inclusive innovation which can introduce microfinance initiatives tailored to the needs of women entrepreneurs, providing like small loans like what I was talking about, but now these are tech, these are bigger. So they provide small loans and financial services to the women entrepreneurs. So we are able to deal with every level of women entrepreneurs, the top level corporate kind of women entrepreneurs. So fintech solutions such as mobile banking and digital lending platforms can bridge the gap by offering accessible and convenient financial tools. I think we've all heard about M-Pesa, our pride, how we're able to do mobile banking, and we're able to do to give mobile loans. And the biggest beneficiary to these mobile banking platforms are actually women. And in Kenya, we call them Mama Mboga, the women in the marketplace, and they really, really make full use of this tool, this facility, and it's just been a game changer as far as access to finance is involved in the women's space. Innovation support systems also comes in through women-centric incubators. So establishing incubators and accelerators specifically designed for women-led businesses can provide not only financial support, but also mentorship and guidance. During COVID, I led a team at our private sector alliance or association, and we were mainly doing mentorship, coaching, and capacity building to youth and women entrepreneurs, and we managed to reach about 500 women entrepreneurs within 1 year. We had accelerator programs, mentorship programs, and just to ensure that the women don't lose momentum and the youth don't lose momentum of their entrepreneurship. They stay focused. Even as the pandemic was going on, they are capacity building themselves so that as they continue doing business, they do it even better. So these programs can connect women entrepreneurs with investors and industry experts who understand their unique challenges. We have collaborative financing platforms. Inclusive, innovation can create this kind of platforms where women-led businesses can pool resources and share risks. So this is not only addresses the issue of access to finance, but also promotes supportive community of entrepreneurs. So you find women coming together and doing something that can grow them or build them economically. We can use innovation to protect ourselves from cultural barriers as well. So inclusive innovation can involve the implementation of training programs that promote cultural sensitivity among business leaders and stakeholders. So this ensures that diverse cultural perspectives are understood and respected in the business environment. So we try as much as possible to ensure that every culture is accommodated within any business setup. And then we have the celebrations. The other day in Kenya, we had Diwali for the Indian community. So inclusive innovation can encourage and sponsor cultural celebrations within the business community, events that highlight the richness of diverse traditions and practices can foster a more inclusive and accepting atmosphere, breaking down cultural barriers, and just making sure each and every member of our organizations within that business is accommodated. We can use innovation for diversity and in business leadership as well. So actively promoting diverse presentation in leadership positions through inclusive hiring practice contributes to breaking down cultural barriers. When women from different cultural backgrounds are in leadership roles, it sets an example of and creates a more inclusive workplace and culture. And I think we've all experienced that, especially for us women who've been out there and worked for different organizations. Cross-culture collaboration platforms as well is another innovation. So inclusive innovation can facilitate platforms that encourage cross-cultural collaboration. This could involve creating network events, mentorship programs again, or business forums like this one that we are having, where women entrepreneurs from various cultural backgrounds can connect and collaborate. You see, our previous speaker talked about, we are women from Europe, women from South America, women from Africa, all of us just coming together and collaborating, exchanging ideas, networking, and just seeing how we can improve the space of the woman entrepreneur across the globe. We have gender biases, and we see how we can be innovative around gender biases as well. So inclusive innovation involves implementing policies that encourage diverse representation on boards in the decision-making positions. Earlier on, I mentioned the Women on Boards Network, Kenya. So this is a network that really directly deals with this particular aspect. This ensures that a variety of perspectives, including those of women, are considered in strategic decision-making processes. When women sit at the table, they are included in the decisions that are made. So we find that we not necessarily decisions that favor women, but decisions that include the needs of women. Then there's what we call bias-free recruitment and promotion. So inclusive innovation promotes the use of unbiased recruitment and promotion practices. This may involve blind recruitment processes and performance evaluations to minimize gender biases and ensure equal opportunities for career advancement. This is happening very much in Kenya, in Africa. I must say that there's been a great improvement, but we are still not there. You saw the other day when there was the United African Presidents meeting just last week, and there was only one woman president from Africa, and that to a certain level disturbs me, but I know for sure the way we are going, very soon we'll have more women in that photograph. So we have the skill development and education. One of the speakers mentioned STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is a very good way of, again, inclusive innovation. It can focus on enhancing education opportunities for women, and that is how STEM comes in, because traditionally women were known to do the art subjects, the history, the geography, and home science, but now more women are taking up what we call the STEM, the sciences, the maths, the engineering, the technology. We are seeing them featuring in the top 50, top 10, top 30, top 20 women in technology, and we can see at least this is paying off. So this empowers women with the skills and knowledge needed for leadership roles in technology-driven industries. Professional development programs creating professional development programs that specifically address gender biases can equip women with the tools to navigate and overcome challenges in the workplace. These include leadership training, negotiation skills workshops. I have personally just come from The Hague, Netherlands, to learn how to better my negotiation skills so that I can be able to be a regional mediator across Africa. And even in the work that I do, we always need negotiation skills. We need mentorship programs and all those professional development programs. Very, very important for women. In conclusion, Carlotta, if you could allow me, inclusive innovation is a powerful catalyst for addressing the challenges of access to finance, cultural barriers, gender biases as well. So by implementing targeted strategies and fostering a culture of inclusivity, innovative solutions can empower women-led businesses, definitely, and contribute to more equitable and thriving business environment in Africa and in the globe as well. So again, I will conclude with moving from women empower to women in power. Thank you very much. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much to you, Jackie, for your really inspiring words. And I think that also our last speaker could agree with you on the role of innovation in empowering women. So we had the pleasure to have with us Megan McCormick. Good afternoon, good evening, Megan. You are literally a successful business case for today's event. Currently, you are the co-founder and CEO of Aussie, a fintech company that equips African entrepreneurs to make data-driven decisions to both improve their business performance and access capital. So, Megan, why did you decide to focus on developing innovative strategies in Africa?
Thank you, Carlotta, for having me, and it's wonderful to be on a panel with so many inspiring women. I first moved from the United States to West Africa back in 2011 to the Republic of Guinea. And one thing that really strikes you when you move to a country like Guinea is, one, every business is a small business, and two, that we are really reliant on these small businesses in order to drive inclusive economic growth, in order to create employment opportunities, and really able to have young people be able to construct lives and careers of meaning, right? I'm sure all of us on this panel get a lot out of the work we do. There's a reason we chose this work. And I really wanted my friends, my neighbors, my family in Guinea to be able to access that same amount of opportunity that I had by coming from a place like the United States. And when I founded Ose, I had already been working for many, many years running small business accelerators. And I realized that the opportunity to provide tools to small businesses in Africa was massive, right? If you look, depending on the country, it's above 80%, sometimes above 90% of employment is in the small business sector, of firms are small businesses. So if you want to create a tool for small business owners that really can be a successful business and also has the opportunity to shift the way an entire economy functions, then there is a strong pull to Africa to do that because of the nature of the shape of the economy here. But it was really the fact that I had already been living here and working here. That's how I understood this opportunity to build a business in West Africa really existed.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for your energy. And we realize that innovation is at the heart of all your projects. What are the factors that can help a female enterprise today to be competitive by innovating?
Yeah, so every business needs to innovate in order to survive, right? If we're not bringing something new to the market, then we can't break the market out of the inertia. Right? I bring technology to financial institutions to digitize their lending so that small business owners who don't have collateral, who don't have audited financial statements, who don't have a credit record can actually get access to credit through formal financial institutions where the interest rates are much, much lower than from a traditional fintech or a traditional microfinance institution, or in the worst case, from the kind of loan sharks, we would call them, who are out in the market taking advantage of these customers who don't have any other way to access capital. But in the traditional financial industry, inertia is strong, right? The bankers are not the ones who are out here suffering. They put on their suit, they go to work, and if they can't give a loan to a small business owner, they'll just give a loan to a corporate, or here in Ghana, they'll buy treasury bills. And so unless you can really excite them through innovation, you're never going to change the status quo. And unless you can find the right people within these organizations who are more excited than scared by disruption, more excited than scared by innovation, then you're just going to be knocking on doors with a great pitch deck, and you're never going to be able to actually create that change within the organization. I think that people are all very different, and that our personalities come as much from our lived experiences as from our genders. But there are some things that women generally are known to be better at than men. And I think two of them are listening and empathy. And I come from a background of human-centered design. So I come from a background of co-creating solutions with customers and with those within organizations that are closest to the customers in order to build something that fits into people's lives, right? There's one school of innovation where you sit in a lab somewhere, you create a new technology, a new algorithm, a new something, you go out and patent it, and then you look for what market can take this new technology and commercialize it. And that, I think, works in solving known problems with solutions that are new but in the realm of known. The problem of how do we create true financial inclusion for micro, small, medium business owners cannot be solved in a lab. We have to go on the ground and be with the small business owners, because even though they're operating in some of the most difficult contexts on the planet, they are surviving, right? If I go to work with a small business owner, they started without any motivation from me. They survived without any of my help. And so I need to be able to learn from them what they're doing to overcome these challenges. Then I need to go and learn from, advanced data scientists, what's out there, what's new, and what excites them, and how can I motivate them and bring them in. I need to, when we first started working with banks, we rolled out butcher paper across the big boardroom tables, and we, with markers and sticky notes, mapped out the process of what it takes to give a loan to a small business owner today. And fax machines were involved, which I found very shocking. But when you don't just, sit and imagine, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And then try to push it down, and you actually understand people's lives and work and how you fit into that, that's when you can really create market shifting innovation. And that is not possible if you come into the room with ego. I need to come into every room knowing that the other person in the room knows better than me. And what I have is a process to bring out their strengths and transform it into something that's scalable and repeatable. And so I think when you take this approach to innovation, this human-centered design approach to innovation, it really plays into some of the typical strengths that women have.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I think your advice can be really supportive for the companies who are joining us, for the female entrepreneurs. And a special thank also to Africa Invest, and in particular to Aisha, who creates the link between us. Thank you. And thank you to all our speakers. I hope we can deepen our collaboration with all of you very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
As we have come to the end of this event, I would like to remind everyone that on the CDP Business Matching platform, you can get in touch with us to receive technical or business assistance, including on financial instruments, and of course to start new B2B meetings. All companies already registered can organize the B2B meetings by accepting the proposed matches that will find on their dashboard. In addition, I invite you to profile your company by indicating your goals for growth abroad and then to return regularly to the platform to discover the match proposals and to organize the B2Bs you consider the most suitable. In conclusion, I would like to thank all the participants, our distinguished speakers, and all those who contributed to the success of this event. We will see each other soon to continue on this journey. Thank you again. Arrivederci. Goodbye.
Thank you.